There comes a moment when the noise finally collapses and you begin to hear yourself again. A moment when the betrayal that once shattered you becomes strangely quiet inside your chest. And in that silence something shifts, something deep and undeniable. A realization that the person who hurt you never understood your worth in the first place. And that their betrayal was not a reflection of your weakness but a reflection of their own emptiness. And as you stand there in the aftershock of their actions, you begin to feel a new kind of strength rising inside you. Not the loud kind that demands justice, but the quiet kind that whispers you deserved better all along. And this is the silent turning point, the moment when your silence grows louder than your pain, when your distance says what your words could never say, and the person who hurt you starts to sense this shift. They feel the absence of your energy, the loss of your softness, the fading of your warmth, and suddenly your silence becomes the consequence they never expected. Because when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop giving chances, when you stop protecting someone from the truth of who they are, you start protecting yourself instead. And that is the moment their regret begins, not because you punished them, but because you rose above them without saying a word. And there is nothing more terrifying to someone who tried to break you than watching you heal without them, watching you rebuild without needing their apology, watching you evolve into someone stronger than the version they abandoned. And this moment right here becomes the foundation of your transformation, the quiet rebuilding of your identity, the soft reclaiming of your power. And though your heart may still tremble from the weight of what you endured, your spirit stands taller than before. And Stoicism reminds you that the only thing you truly control is what you become after the pain. Not the apology you never received, not the closure deserved, not the understanding you begged for, but your response, your growth, your rebirth. And as the silence settles around you, it becomes clear that the one who betrayed you expected you to break, but instead you awakened. And they will feel the echo of this awakening long after they realize what they lost. There is a certain power in watching quietly, in observing without reacting, in letting people reveal themselves through their actions while you stay grounded in your truth. And those who hurt you never expect this kind of silence because they mistake your calm for confusion, your stillness for weakness, your patience for dependence. But silent watching is one of the strongest Stoic behaviors you can embody, because when you step back and stop feeding into someone's chaos, you give them the space to expose their true intentions without your interference. You stop arguing with their lies and you start listening to their patterns. You stop explaining your worth and you start noticing how little they valued it. And this shift shakes them because they were used to your reactions, they were used to your emotional investment, they were used to your effort. And when all of that fades into silence, they become unsettled. They start to wonder what you are thinking, they start to question whether you are done with them. And nothing scares someone who mistreated you more than the idea that you no longer care enough to respond. And silent watching gives you a clarity you couldn't see through the smoke of emotional chaos. It lets you witness their inconsistency, their selfishness, their manipulative tendencies, not with anger but with awareness. And awareness is dangerous to people who depend on your blindness. So when you begin watching silently, you reclaim your emotional control. You stop dancing to their rhythm and let them stumble on their own. And sooner or later they feel the shift, they feel your detachment, they feel your perception sharpening. And their regret begins not because you confronted them, but because you finally saw them clearly and they know it. And there is nothing they can do to hide from your silence, because silence is where truth becomes undeniable. Cold detachment is not cruelty, it is clarity. It is choosing to step out of the emotional battlefield and reclaim your peace from someone who never valued it. And those who hurt you expect anger, they expect confrontation, they expect tears, they expect you to fall apart, because those reactions feed their ego and confirm their belief that they had power over you. But when you respond with cold detachment, their entire narrative collapses, because nothing disrupts a manipulator more than realizing you no longer dance to their emotional triggers. And cold detachment is not shutting down your heart. It is shutting down their access to it. It is refusing to let someone who broke you decide how you feel about yourself. And the moment you step back emotionally, they feel it instantly. They feel the shift in your tone, your energy, your presence. They feel the distance growing like a wall they never expected you to build. And suddenly your silence becomes a mirror that reflects every wrong they committed. And instead of you chasing them, they start chasing the version of you they lost. Because cold detachment is controlled. It is intentional, it is a reclaiming of emotional space. And Stoicism teaches that emotional suffering comes from attachment to what we cannot control. So when you detach from the one who caused you pain, you detach from the pain itself. And this terrifies them because they depended on your emotional investment to maintain their sense of importance, but now their ego starts to crack as they realize your peace no longer includes them. And the regret begins to seep in slowly as they watch you detach, not with anger, but with a calmness that tells them you finally understand your worth. Distance is often misunderstood. People see it as avoidance, but in Stoicism, distance is a form of wisdom. It is the choice to create space between your heart and their chaos. And when someone hurts you, distance becomes the greatest teacher, not just for you but for them. Because when you pull away, they are forced to face the emptiness left behind by your absence. And no matter how strong someone pretends to be, they always feel the shift when the person who once cared stops showing up. And this distance becomes a reflection of their actions, a reflection they cannot escape, and the one who betrayed you starts to replay every moment they took you for granted, every time they dismissed your feelings, every time they chose ego over connection, and your distance becomes the consequence that life delivers naturally, because you cannot teach someone to value you while you stand in the same place they disrespected you, so you move emotionally and physically, you step back, you breathe differently, you think differently, and as you rise, the gap between you widens in a way they can no longer control, and this begins to bother them because distance is the one thing their ego cannot negotiate. You cannot argue with distance, you cannot manipulate space, you cannot twist the silence that grows between two people, and as you withdraw, they begin to realize how much of their life was held together by your presence, your encouragement, your loyalty, your emotional labor, and the regret begins slowly but painfully as they understand too late that distance doesn't just separate bodies, it separates futures. Your calmness after betrayal is the sharpest blade you will ever carry. Not a blade to hurt others, but a blade that cuts through illusions. A blade that slices away the lies they told themselves about you. Because the one who hurt you expects drama, they expect chaos, they expect you to break, they expect you to attack or crumble or beg. But when you remain calm, when your voice stays steady, when your energy becomes still, their entire sense of superiority collapses. Because nothing exposes guilt faster than a calm person who knows their worth, and this calm is not emptiness, it is mastery. It is choosing not to let their chaos define your emotional frequency. And as you stand firm in this calmness, they begin to feel uncomfortable. Not because you are doing anything to them, but because you are finally doing everything for yourself. And their ego cannot tolerate that shift. They feel the loss of control, the loss of access, the loss of emotional dominance, and they begin to question whether they ever truly understood you. And Stoicism teaches that true power is not in controlling others, but in controlling yourself. So your calmness becomes a message that says you survived what they thought would destroy you. And this realization cuts deeper than any argument, any retaliation, any confrontation, because calmness is a consequence that cannot be denied, and it forces them to sit with their own behavior without distraction. And that is where their deepest regret begins, in the quiet moments when they see you at peace while they remain trapped in the chaos they created. There comes a point when you no longer seek revenge, no longer seek explanations, no longer seek an apology from the person who hurt you, because you finally realize that life handles people far better than your anger ever could. And letting life handle it is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the powerful understanding that everything a person does returns to them eventually, good or bad. And when you release the desire to make them understand the pain they caused you, you step into a level of emotional freedom that they can no longer reach or influence, because the truth is this: people who betray you rarely expect life to expose them. They think they can treat you poorly and continue forward untouched. But the universe has a way of showing people themselves, and life has a way of returning lessons in the same shape they delivered harm. And when you step away and let life handle it, their consequences arrive naturally, slowly perhaps, quietly perhaps, but always inevitably, because their behavior was not just a mistake, it was a reflection of their character, and character creates destiny. And when you no longer respond, when you no longer chase closure, when you no longer participate in the emotional imbalance they created, something shifts in their world more than yours. Your silence becomes unsettling, your peace becomes confusing, your indifference becomes painful, because now they have to face their choices without the comfort of your forgiveness. and the weight of their actions begins to press on them in ways your words never could. And this is where their regret starts to form, not in the moments when you were hurting, but in the moments when they needed the support you once gave so freely, and it wasn't there anymore because you were gone, healing, rising, becoming stronger without them, and life begins to show them the truth, that losing someone who loved with sincerity is one of the greatest losses a person can face. And as they experience situations that mirror the pain they caused you, they begin to understand too late that your love was a gift they mishandled, a light they dimmed, a refuge they destroyed, and letting life handle it means you rise above the chaos and allow time and consequence to teach what your heart no longer can, and sooner or later they will feel the sting of their own behavior echoing back to them, not out of vengeance but out of balance, and the regret that grows from this balance is deeper than anything you could have delivered yourself. Choosing peace over pleasing is one of the most powerful and life-changing decisions you will ever make, because people who hurt you often do so believing you will tolerate it. Believing your empathy makes you easy to manipulate. Believing your kindness makes you agreeable to disrespect. But when you choose peace over pleasing, you shatter that illusion instantly. You stop bending your needs to fit their comfort. You stop sacrificing your emotional well-being to spare their ego. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And this shift changes everything, not just for you but for them, because the moment you prioritize your peace, they lose their power over you. And they feel it deeply, the sudden unavailability of your emotional energy, the lack of access to your heart, the absence of your willingness to fix what they kept breaking. And that shift shakes them because they depended on your people-pleasing to maintain the connection. They depended on your tolerance to excuse their behavior. They depended on your softness to hide their selfishness. And when you choose peace over pleasing, you remove the emotional foundation they stood on, leaving them unstable in a way they never expected. You stop showing up for their chaos. You stop responding to their manipulation. You stop participating in the unhealthy cycles they dragged you into. And instead you redirect that energy toward yourself, toward healing, toward understanding your worth, toward reclaiming your identity. And this decision creates a wave of clarity inside you. A clarity that shows you how much you've been carrying simply to keep the peace with someone who was constantly disturbing yours. And as you step into this new self-respect, they begin to feel something unfamiliar, the absence of control, the absence of your emotional investment, the absence of your willingness to bend for them, and this absence becomes the catalyst for their regret, because now they see what they had through the lens of losing it, and they realize too late that the peace you now protect is the peace they should have protected in you. Becoming unreadable is a silent art, a powerful transformation that happens when you stop giving people access to your emotions so easily, especially those who mishandled them, and the one who hurt you is shaken when you become unreadable because they were used to reading you like an open book. They were used to predicting your reactions. They were used to seeing your feelings written on your face, but betrayal rewires you, pain refocuses you, healing sharpens you, and suddenly your heart becomes harder to decode. Not because you are hiding, but because you are protecting yourself. And when you become unreadable, you break the emotional pattern they depended on. You stop revealing your thoughts. You stop showing your vulnerability to the one who abused it. You stop giving them the satisfaction of knowing whether you're hurting or healed, angry or calm, attached or detached. And nothing frustrates a manipulative or careless person more than losing the emotional access they once took for granted, because now they cannot control what they cannot read. They cannot predict what they cannot see. They cannot manipulate what they cannot touch. And your mystery becomes their new torment. They begin to question everything. They wonder if you still care. They wonder if someone else has your attention. They wonder if you have moved on for good. Their ego spirals because your silence no longer reveals your position in their life, and the uncertainty becomes punishment they created themselves. And Stoicism teaches that protecting your emotional center is one of the highest forms of strength. So becoming unreadable is not coldness, it is mastery. It is learning to hold your energy in a way that only those who earn it may access it. And when they see this new version of you, calmer, stronger, more controlled, more selective, they feel the regret rise within them because they realize they are no longer a priority in your inner world. They are simply a lesson that shaped your evolution. There comes a moment when the one who hurt you finally feels everything they made you carry. A moment when your silence gets louder than their pride and their regret begins to creep in quietly, hitting them in the late nights when their thoughts get heavy and the distractions fade, and suddenly the person they pushed away becomes the person they can't stop remembering. Because nothing haunts a heart more than losing someone who only wanted to love with honesty, and now your distance becomes the consequence they never expected, your growth becomes the echo of what they lost, your calm becomes the mirror they can't look away from, and as life shows them what your presence truly meant, they realize too late that your absence is the price they created themselves. And this is when regret finally catches up, silently, sharply, relentlessly. There comes a moment at the end of every journey through pain where you look back not with anger but with understanding, not with bitterness but with clarity, and this final reflection becomes your closure, not the closure they refused to give you but the closure you created for yourself, because you finally see that every silent behavior you adopted was not about hurting them but about healing you. Your silence became strength, your detachment became wisdom, your distance became protection, your calmness became power, your peace became your new direction, and as you step into the next chapter of your life, you no longer carry the weight of their betrayal, the confusion of their lies, the heaviness of their absence. Instead, you carry the lessons, the resilience, the growth, and Stoicism teaches that the greatest victory is not proving someone wrong but proving yourself right, proving that you were always worthy, always strong, always capable of rising above what tried to break you. And the ones who hurt you will feel their regret in silence just as you healed in silence, because life always reveals the truth in time. And now you stand calmer, wiser, grounded in your worth, and this is your Stoic close. And if you felt something shift inside you tonight, share your thoughts in the comments. Explore more Stoic wisdom on this channel, and subscribe to Stoic Spark for daily guidance that strengthens your mind and spirit.